74 years ago today, the Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. The Allied troops knew that a lot of soldiers would not make it off that beach that day. They knew that fighting Nazi Germany across Europe would be incredibly difficult. But at that time, those soldiers did not know what they would find at the end of the war. Many of the soldiers have told the stories about not knowing about the concentration camps until those camps were liberated. Now, a couple in Tennessee with roots here in Chattanooga are working to help men and women who survived the Holocaust. Back in 2012, John Pregelman was invited to go to the Illinois Holocaust Museum to work on a project taking pictures of Holocaust survivors.
I'd never had much contact with survivors, and I just became completely entranced and enthralled with these amazing people.
That project started John on a mission that he's been on the last 5 years. John grew up in Chattanooga. His great-grandfather started Siskin Steel in 1900. This journey led him to Holocaust survivors here in Chattanooga and then to Memphis, and that's where he met his wife, Amy.
The real part of KAVOD that happened was after we met.
Amy says she nor John had Holocaust survivors in their families, and the more survivors they met, the more they learned about how they're living.
As in all seniors, they get to a certain age, as we know, and their short-term memory kind of fades, and their long-term memory comes into more focus. And these are people that have had traumas that we can't even fathom, let alone even understand as a human being. And so therefore, some of these traumas are returning as if they just happened.
John says this mission grew far beyond pictures after a trip to Orlando a few years ago.
And I went to this lady's home who was 94 and took her photos, and inevitably the ladies I take pictures of want to feed me afterwards. It's sort of a grandmother thing. And we went to her refrigerator in the kitchen, and she opened it, and there was almost nothing in there.
The woman told him she couldn't afford to shop for groceries that week.
I had to fix my air conditioner, so I didn't have anything left. And that made a real impression on me. We found that about 30 to 35% of survivors are living in poverty.
It hit Amy and John hard that people who went through so much earlier in life couldn't afford just to buy the things they needed to survive late in life.
We decided to create KAVOD together, which means dignity in Hebrew.
John and Amy are living in Memphis now. John says they visited 30 cities to help survivors so far. This week, they've been in Chattanooga. They met with people at the Jewish Cultural Center last night just to educate them on KAVOD's mission.
There are organizations doing good work, and the gap is where we decided that would be our niche. So we said, okay, there's nothing in place to handle emergency situations. So emergency care in the sense that they have an air condition breakdown, or their car breaks down, or they have a medical emergency.
And they get the money to the people who need it within 5 to 7 days. And this whole mission started with a very simple thought.
I think we both thought, well, you know, let's see what happens, even if we can help one survivor. Even if we can make a difference to one person, then that's enough.
You can learn more about KAVOD's mission in this story on our website, newschannel9.com. KAVOD has raised $120,000 so far. They say 100% of that money will go to survivors. To date, they have helped 760 Holocaust survivors.
Josh, thank you. Appreciate it. Sports straight ahead.